John Walsh, you created Total Mortgage Services in 1997. What inspired you to create the company?
That's a good question. I had worked for a bank, I had worked for a mortgage company, and I decided that I always thought that I could do it better, and I wanted to create a company that I would want it to work for. And kind of the philosophy I've had since we started in 1997 was I wanted the salespeople to be put in a position where they could sell, and I wanted operations people to operate. So I've always been very heavy on the operational support here, and for a salesperson, it's a great company to work for. I'm a salesperson at heart. I was a loan officer for many years before I started the company. So it's a situation where the loan officers, their main goal, their main job is to put together a good file, and then they pass it off, and my operations takes care of it there. So at the end of the day, I wanted to create a company that myself as a salesperson or a loan officer would wanted to work for, and that's what I worked on all these years.
Was this the first time you created your own company?
It was. It was. That was the very first time. I was 31 years old at the time, and it's been great. It's been fun. It's been a challenge, and I'm really happy that I made that decision to do that.
In the years that you've been in business, what have been the greatest challenges in running the company? And on the flip side, what have been some of the greatest triumphs?
The challenges in this business are, as everybody who's in this business knows, is the rate environment a lot of times dictates business, and it's difficult to manage people when you have a demand that can go from 1x to 3x in 30 days, or from X to half of X in 30 days. It's a difficult business to manage the people because of the quickness how things move in this industry. It's not a situation where we're going to do 105% of what we did next month. It just doesn't work that way. So it's very difficult to plan in this business from a people perspective. So I would say that's probably the biggest challenge that we face. The biggest wins that we have is getting through those challenges. That's the best part. The best part is in down markets, and after the crisis in 2007 and 2008, we were able to pick up some very talented people, and who have stayed with us since then. It was a great time of opportunity. Same thing when this past interest rate spike in May of last year made a lot of displaced people, and we've picked up again a lot of very talented people. So they're great times of opportunity. So they're tough times to get through, but when you get through them, there's usually light at the end of the tunnel, and it works out very well for us. So we look at these times as times of opportunity.
The mortgage banking industry is under a great deal of regulation today, and has been for the past couple of years. How is your company dealing with all the new regulations, both state and federal, that have been put on it?
That is a challenge. We've just hired another compliance attorney. We've always been heavy on the compliance side of things. It's always a changing market. It's a changing environment, and as everybody knows, the cost of remaining compliant continues to go up and up. But you have to stay ahead of the curve, and it's just a necessary part of running the business.
If anybody watching this were to say to themselves, I want to be like John Walsh, what kind of advice would you give them in starting your own business?
I would say that the most important part is the people. You try to do the right thing. You want to treat people the right way, treat people the way you want to be treated, and then just again, you have to have the right attitude. Realize that things are going to be difficult at times. It's always not easy, but take care of your people, look for good people, and have a good attitude, I would say.
John Walsh, when did Total Mortgage Services get into the wholesale lending business, and what inspired you to get into wholesale?
We launched the platform in the spring of 2010, and back at that time we knew that rates were going to go up eventually, and we thought that the wholesale business was a good hedge against refinance production. So we got into we opened the channel in 2010, and we had the back room, we had the staff, we had the operational support, so it was a pretty easy transition into the wholesale side of things. And we started that, like I said, in May of it was the spring of 2010, and it's worked out very well. Especially now, a lot when we had opened the wholesale division, everybody was getting out of the wholesale space, and everybody was like, I felt like I was kind of running into the fire as opposed to running out of the fire. But it served me well. I think it's still an underserved market. There's a lot of opportunity in that space, and we're very happy we've done it, and we continue to grow wholesale in a big way. We've begun to dip our toe into the mini correspondent side of things as well. So that's kind of the next step and the next progression up the chain. So
well, let's backpedal a bit. Now, you said that you were running into the fire when everybody was running out. What did you see that the rest of the industry didn't see?
I saw that the big players were getting out of the industry, and I saw that was an opportunity. I look for time. When there was a big hole in the industry, there was a big need in the market, and I thought this is going to be great, and it's worked out very well. That's kind of pretty much how it's played out.
How many people do you currently have in the wholesale division?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say, including support and salespeople, I would say there's probably about 60. I would say about 60 people on the wholesale side of things.
That seems like a significant percentage of your business.
Yes, it has grown and it continues to grow. Again, I think it's still a very underserved market. I think people are still leaving that side of things, and I think the mortgage broker is still a viable entity, and I think that's going to continue. So there's always going to be, not always, I hope always, but I think there will continue to be a need in that space. And we do it well. We do a great job for the brokers. We provide a lot of support, and like I said, that segment of my business continues to grow.
Well, you said you're dipping your toe into the mini correspondent business. What's that all about?
We're going to purchase closed loans from other companies, but we're going to do the underwriting for them. So that's just another move up the chain.
What do you think of what the CFPB has been saying in regard to mini correspondents?
I have my attorneys take a look at that. They make sure, I would let them handle that side of things. If they tell me it's okay, I follow their guidance.
But basically, the regulatory concerns, that's not going to be driving whether or not to pursue the business further?
Again, I know what the regulatory concerns are. It's a question of, from what I know, it's about the offering captive lines and where it's really just you're the only one who's allowing that business as a mini correspondent. Mm-hmm. We're not doing it that way, so we're not touching those lines. We're not pushing the envelope as far as what the guidance has come out, what you can and cannot do from a mini correspondent side of things.
You said that the wholesale is still relatively underserved. Why is that? Why haven't more lenders decided to go back into wholesale or to explore it further?
I think the main reason is that there are less brokers out there, right? And in order, you have to be efficient and you have to do a good job. And it's not a huge market, I think. So I don't think that the big players see it as a large enough market to spend enough energy, time, work, and money on it. And we find that it's a perfect fit for us. We're small enough to handle that business very well, but I don't think there's enough. There might not be enough there for the big companies to really come back into it at this point. So we're there, and we plan to stay there.
John Walsh, let's talk about reverse mortgages for a few minutes. Your company is involved in that space. What it is about reverse mortgages that make it an attractive product?
I think there's a need in the market. There's no more no income loans out there. There's for people who are retired, it's difficult to get a loan these days, and they do have equity in their homes and they want to stay in their homes. Their taxes are increasing, their expenses are still there and increasing. So it's a great option for the right person, and sometimes it's the only option for the right person. So we see that space continues to kind of grow, and they talk about all the baby boomers coming out and now becoming retired and such. And we do see that is a space that continues to grow slowly for us, but it does continue to grow. And again, in this environment with it's difficult to get a retired person a loan. It's a great option for the right person.
A lot of people are still confused about reverse mortgages, the idea of how it works. How do you explain to a person how a reverse mortgage works and why it might be the right solution for them?
there's they have to go through counseling. There's certain steps they have to go through in order to actually get a reverse mortgage loan. So it's important that they're educated about it. It's important they know what they're getting into. And it's just like these when people were selling option arms. We did only a handful of those, but we want to make sure that the person we sold those to knew what they were getting into. And it's the same situation with a reverse mortgage. And they need another family member to be with them throughout the process, make sure you're not taking advantage of them and what have you. So it's important that they understand the loan product because it's not for everybody, and it fits the right situation, fits people in the right situation. So
I read something recently that about, I think, 1 out of 5 people ages 55 and over don't have proper retirement savings or have no retirement savings. Is a situation like this ripe for reverse mortgages, or is this, again, this is not a one-size-fits-all product?
It's not a one-size-fits-all product. There are certain criteria that you have to meet in order to qualify for a reverse mortgage, and it has to be the right situation.
Mm-hmm. Well, reverse mortgages aren't a major driving force of your business, but do you see maybe in 10, 15 years from now it's possible this will become a more popular product that you're offering?
We're seeing a larger demand out there, and as I said, our reverse mortgage business is growing slowly, and I do think that it will continue to grow. I think that there is going to continue to be a need out there. So yes, I would say yes.
Excellent. John Walsh, thanks very much.
Perfect. Thank you.
The Housing Show airs every Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern Time and can be viewed on MortgageNewsNetwork.com.
Hello, this is David Koster for the Mortgage News Network. Today, nearly 90 million people will go online and watch a video. This explains why our weekly online shows have been such a hit. Custom-produced videos are simply the most powerful way of telling a business story. National Mortgage Professional Magazine gave rise to Mortgage News Network. Our editors and producers have been telling the stories of this industry for decades. To learn more about sponsorship opportunities that are available and to learn about the video services we provide, request a media kit. You can do so by sending an email to info@mortgagenewsnetwork.com or pick up the phone and call Beverly Bolnick at area code 516-409-5555, extension 4. And remember, while others cover the world, we cover yours.
This is Mortgage News Network.